Greetings and welcome to my very first knife discussion. Disclaimer, this is a trailer. I'm a firefighter and I'm not home this summer. So this little discussion is going to be on a comparison between the Cold Steel Recon one. This one I've had for a couple weeks. I had it out on fire, just got back. And it is the CTS XHP, my favorite steel, actually. Second one of these I've had. The first one I gave to my brother, and then they went to S35, and I thought, shit, I better get one real quick before they are all sold out. So I was able to pick this one up, and actually I prefer, the last one was Desert Tan. This one is Coyote or Earth Brown or whatever. It's actually a really cool brown. It is actually very earthy. I like it. I don't know if the camera's really picking up the colors here, but it's not brown, it's not tan, it's somewhere in between. So actually it's kind of my favorite color. And the knife I'm going to compare it to, let's get this guy out of the way, is Spyderco Military S30V. This is when they're standard. I've had this one since 2015. Haven't used it a whole lot, except for I've carried it. I have not hard used this very much, well, actually at all, really. I've used it a lot in the kitchen, actually. Funny enough. Now, I'm not saying that's what this knife is for, but it is really good with food. So let's jump into the comparison. Both good steels. Let's kind of start from the top. This XHP I think is superior. I think it's easier to sharpen. I think it's less chippy. I know some people aren't going to like me to say this is chippy, but I've found S30V to be a good steel. But you use it. I use it on wood a lot, or cutting rope, cutting paracord, which I do, and zip ties and stuff day to day, and etc. I found this to, you run your fingernail along it, and it's a little chippy. Not like big chips, but it gets kind of like a serrated saw a little bit on a small level, tiny, like a micro level, which probably all steels do, but just my observation. Whereas this stuff, I would beat the shit out of this guy, and you can see that. You can't even tell. There's still some pitch on there. I've cleaned most of the pitch off, but I extensively cut on this last 2 weeks on a lot of stuff, just whatever the hell I could, just cut it, and a lot of whittling, a lot of carving, and I can honestly run my finger in my this is still foam bait. I don't know if this is shaving sharp, but it's definitely foam paper slicing cleanly sharp. I can run my nail over that, and there's maybe just up here in the very tip of the belly, maybe a little, you can feel some nicks. And that's what it is, not chips, but nicks. Excuse me. So I would say the advantage goes to this. Now, you pick these knives up. This is a $99 knife. Actually, I paid about $130 for it on Amazon because they're discontinued, and I was like, I'm fine with that. To me, it's worth $130, I think. And this one, when I bought it, was I think 175, 170 something 3 years ago. Now they're up to 185, maybe 190. I'm not sure. Either way, I still think it's worth it. Kind of sucks the price went up. But this coating has held up pretty dang well. This kind of maybe starting to show a little bit here, up in here, maybe where you open it in the hole, maybe a tad along the edge. But I haven't used this. I have never taken this to work. Never been a work knife. I've carried it quite a bit, and I've used it, but nothing spectacular. This was already seen in a couple of weeks, way more than this has in 3 years. So, and there's a reason for that, and I'll get into it. I bought this knife. Well, one of my buddies that was working for me, a guy that was working for me a few years ago, he got one. I'd never even I mean, I know I was aware of Spyderco knives, but I was a Benchmade guy, still am. But nothing against this knife, but I'm still mostly a Benchmade guy. Um, but he had one of these, and we went to Cabela's on the way back from a fire or to a fire, and stopped at Cabela's, and he was all hot about getting one of these. He got black and black handle, black blade, and paid some exorbitant Cabela's price for it. I was just like, because I'm looking, I'm like all the Benchmades I've seen, and I've always had the, one of these guys. It's like, well, I kind of feel like I'm getting my money's worth out of it because, well, it's a gadget. I mean, it's an automatic knife. It's got a much more sophisticated grind on it. It's got serrations. I always figured, hell, Benchmade, you pay a lot for them, but there's a lot more work that appears to go into them instead of this like really simple flat ground blade, and two pieces of, well, they're G10, but you know what? I didn't know even what G10 was here a few years ago. Some kind of plastic polymer. But I held that thing. I was like, dang, that is a nice knife. And it actually, and I realized this has been around since like the late 90s, pretty much. This feels like a futuristic knife to me. And I'm like, this is just really nice. When I was, playing around with his, I gave it back to him. I think it was actually the next fire season, I ended up getting this. I should have got I kind of, in hindsight, I wish I would have got the black, but it is just such a nice texture on it. I mean, it looks like, like an old sailboat or old kayak, I don't know. I mean, I realize it's G10, not fiberglass, but just kind of canvasy kind of look to it and feel. And actually, I've been really super stoked if it wasn't camo, it was just that color, which I realize is that natural G10, but I think this might actually be darker than that. Where that natural looks almost emerald, this would be still kind of an army drab green, but without the camo. Anyway, still like the knife. Like I said, haven't been out on fire with it. So, this is just a beast. It's about dang near half the price of that. Probably, honestly, the stronger knife. In my opinion, the better steel. But this does not feel like a futuristic knife to me. It feels like it's cool though. That's the charm of this. To me, it seems like it's an old school like army knife, like from World War II or something, or Vietnam. Even though they didn't have this style of knife back then, but the blade shape and everything. I mean, this thing is just brutal. It's just a brutal beast. And you can just chop anything down with this, and you got like a small tree, like a sapling or something, wherever you're going to be cutting on that thing, you just limb that thing up and just start grinding on it and, get that thing down. I mean, I was chopping everything down with this thing. And the last one I had, like I was saying, I gave to my brother was, I think, as far as I recall, it was a hollow ground. And now, after owning these guys, because I've had this, I've also have, now I got this. Well, this is a pair of 3, but the Paramilitary 2, man, these blades, that blade shapes and grinds are just fantastic. Fantastic. So this one's flat ground. So I think this is a major improvement over the hollow grind. Nothing gets a hollow grind. Honestly, I never really used that knife a whole lot. I really wanted my brother to have a knife, so I gave it to him, and he definitely appreciates it. But I did take it out a few times, and I kind of built a shelter out of willows. I built it wasn't a lean-to, but it was kind of a tent. Anyway, it was kind of a fort. And I think this one actually cuts better with that flat grind. So, kind of a draw. I mean, I don't know. Like, they're both cool in their own way. This feels like it's from the future. This feels like it's from the past, and they're both in their own way. It's awesome. Awesome either way. Okay, so that we can get this bad boy out. This thing's still pretty stiff. Like that pair of 2 I had, which I gave to my other brother, which was a beast of a knife. Boy, I got it right out of the box, and it was just, obviously no blade play when it was locked up, but this one's still stiffer, no problem. I got, it's just, also this one has just a tad bit, the detent, just like this, is like just a little loose, and that pair too was like almost like a magnet. It just got sucked right in that detent, just held it right in. This one's got a little bit of click in there, which I don't like, but you know, I don't hate either too much. So, oh, excuse, what the hell? Good knife. Also, this one's seen a lot of use this summer on mini fires, but that's not what these are about. This, I will do a review on this. Great knife. God, so many good knives. Preference wise, clip, and I am a tip down guy. I'll be honest with you. First one of these I had, you know, came tip down. I don't know. I guess I had the option of tip up. I do have this. This is an original, by the way. It's new. It's only a year old, but it is the AFO 9050, not the 51 AFO 2. But I've always that was pretty much my first pocket knife, you know, with the clip that I'd ever had. Before that, you know, just I carried buck 110 just because my dad does. But I'm definitely a fan of the clip, you know, point tip down, because you grab it, you pull it up, and you're already ready to go. Whether it's push button auto like that, or whether it's you know, your standard. But I really like how they kept this tip down. I'm glad I don't need you know, I always go tip down whenever I can. I think generally I haven't changed that. That's, you have an option that came tip up. I just left it, so I can't say always, but yeah. So this thing, I mean, you pull it out of your pocket and chink. So as far as pocket clips go, between these two, I definitely prefer the military tip down, and I prefer that clip. I really like those clips. Actually, all Spyderco clips I've had I like. I don't like this one for a few reasons. It's small and it's really low profile. It's harder to get in our pocket. It's super tight, and I think it's just a stupid looking clip. It's small though, so I guess that's an advantage. I mean, there's no hot spots in this anywhere, by the way. And I mean, I know there's not like a forward choil like on these for your finger, but I have no fear whatsoever grabbing it like this and carving on stuff, cutting stuff. And then of course you got that, and I mean, you know, I love this knife. But honestly, if I had to choose between the two, we'll see where that would go. So another advantage I see, so the clip and point tip orientation definitely goes to the Spyderco. And then as far as, I don't like studs too much. Thumb studs, they're okay for opening the knife, but they're just there. They're in the way. And I mean, this is so much cleaner, and I definitely prefer that, because I mean, you know, middle finger, thumb. Actually, like, I don't even use the thumb anymore. I just, even like on my Benchmade axis locks, I always just use, even on the studs, I just use that finger, both hands, right and left hand. I'll just do it that way. So, all right. So that is going to go to that. I don't know. It's just both really good knives, but I really would like to get one of these and get out in the field. For some reason, I just don't. I'll probably get a black one, a brandy black one. It'll take it out and beat it up, I guess. I wish I could get an M4 with a black blade. That'd be cool. Actually, if I could get CTS on in a military with red, that would be, or 20 CV, something. I wish I could get a red military with a black XHP blade or 20 CV or M4. That'd be super cool. And black hardware. So yeah, so they're both really good knives, both for different reasons. That one, I realize this is the stronger knife. It's a brilliant design as well. I mean, really comfortable. I mean, just, you know, okay, so if I was going out in the bushes and I didn't know when I was going to come back, I'd take this in a heartbeat over that. But I'm not going to be, I don't have any plans to be on the bushes for an unknown amount of time. I spend enough time getting paid to be out in the bushes, and I've never taken this out. Taking this, and I would definitely stick with this, just because it's got that triad lock. So the lock goes to this, and then, I mean, it's just more of a brilliant. Now, I don't have any doubts that this is a strong knife either, but I don't know, it's pretty amazing. If you haven't owned one of these and you're, as far as bushcraft goes, obviously you don't want to be out batoning with this, but to make a funny joke, I'll do a video on this one, but I have this guy, which is like, there and again, twice the cost of this, and this is all cool factor, and I really like it, but, I mean, you know, any intelligent individual would go with that over this, even though this is super cool. Like this, well, besides this, besides that knife right there, this is the coolest knife. In view, anyway. Actually, to me, this is the coolest knife of all time. But this video's not about those. So we've discussed the blade, cutting, you know, the thumb hole, nothing poke sticking out like a thumb stud. That's not the reason why I like that auto. Yeah, advantage goes to the Spyderco. As far as strength goes, I'm assuming it would just go this cold steel. I wouldn't want to argue with that. I think that's pretty well known. This is listed, I think, as 4 inches. This is a true 4-inch knife, if not 3.99, where this is probably like 3.88, 3.9, something like that. I mean, it's at least 1/10 of an inch shorter than that. Blade shapes, gotta like them both. Cutting ability, if you're doing food, this might be, just because it's pure flat ground. It doesn't have the this kind of saber, the flat up top. In the pocket, this one is actually lower profile, even though it's got that big old hump on it. This one actually, if you do look at them from the side, this one actually does take up more space, especially because you got the clip, the peak that sticks up. And this one at one point is barely, if you put them like this one actually is just a tad, but then all over, like throughout the whole thing, the rest of it, this one's wider. And this actually, that might not even be wider at that one point. I looked at it, it's pretty close. So it's a tough one. So either you're a cold steel guy and you go for the cold steel and you can't go wrong, or you're a Spyderco guy and you go for the military and you can't go wrong. I like them both. To be honest, I would not have gotten this one though if it was just an S35. The reason why I got it was XHP. Whereas this one, I would buy more of these. So that's got to say something. In fact, I do want another one. I have a Thai one, but you know, S30 steel, titanium. It's like my wintertime Christmas knife, right? Like I just kind of keep that special for Christmas time for whatever reason, because I think last year I got it right before Christmas and I carried it all through the holidays when I went home. And so that'll about wrap this one up. I think I went into everything. I just want to reiterate that I like both of these guys for different reasons. And the funny thing is how futuristic this one seems to me. Like when I pick this up, I'm like, God, that just seems like this is what we'd send to space with, like an astronaut that was going to Mars for the first time, you know, or something like that, or, you know, futuristic. And this one definitely seems like it's been in, the Army's had this for a long time in the past. No knock against it though. Both awesome knives. Plus half price of that. So yeah. Better steel too. Alright. Cool. And that's all I got. Peace.